So an applause for the young Italian rugby player Leonardo Florian, who died, as we say, sadly this week at the age of 24. We're almost ready to go here in the Stadio Olimpico, but first we'll pause for the national anthems. Wow, this place is ready to rock. We are just a few minutes away from kick-off. Let's get some final predictions. How's this one going to go, Peter Wright?
Yeah, I think if Scotland can just play their game, I think they can just sneak this.
Colin, Gregor?
I was very confident last night.
Has that anthem changed your mind?
Yeah, well, it's pretty inspiring, but no, I think Scotland haven't been all that good so far this Six Nations, but it's going to click today, and they're going to run out comfortable winners. Tom English?
I fancy Scotland to live up to the pressure and win by 10 points plus.
We are ready to go here in Rome on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. Round 4 of the Six Nations, Italy versus Scotland. We'll get plenty from Peter Wright throughout the match, but now let's hand to our commentary team here in the stadium of Colin Gregor and Stuart McFarlane.
Yeah, thanks very much, Andy. As the bands just depart the pitch and the Scotland team the last of the members is the hooker George Turner. He joins the rest of the team in a huddle, and Italy just composing theirs at the moment as well. The man in the middle is Angus Gardner. He'll officiate this afternoon, and he's just looking down in the direction of the Scots, who will be wearing white jerseys this afternoon with the dark blue shorts, dark blue socks with the white trims. Italy in their familiar home colours of the royal blue jerseys, white shorts and royal blue socks. And Scotland will be playing from right to left as we watch in this first half. It's been rather wet in Rome overnight in the early part of the morning, particularly heavy around 6-7 a.m, but the pitch is in excellent condition, has drained very, very well indeed, and both sides will look for a exciting and zipping start to the contest. Italy will get this match underway. They will be kicking off to the posts to our right hand side, looking for that elusive first home win, as Andy mentioned, since 2013. We've got the final 10-second countdown, the numbers on the big screens at either end of the ground, and our referee raising his left arm, just glancing up at the screen, and will be underway. Scotland with Kinghorn, Steen, Jones, Redpath and Van der Merwe as the backs, Russell and Horn as the half-back partnership, Schoeman, Turner and Fagerson in the front row, Gilchrist and Cummings in the second row, Christie, Darge and Dempsey making up the back row three. And Scotland in those opening exchanges conceding a penalty, Colin, just inside their own 22, and Italy immediately have this opportunity to ask some questions of the Scots, and by the looks of it they're going to call upon the services of Garbisi to land 3 points.
Yeah, Italy kicking, we're playing left to right, kicking deep, but I thought initially it was actually a really good carry from Andy Christie back into the guts of the Italian defence. But he was then penalised for not releasing, so just the Scottish support just ineffective. It's a big hit from Michele Lamaro, the captain for Italy, and then it's Menoncello that latches onto ball. Christie, he ends up on his back, so he's in a position where Menoncello can latch onto that ball quite easily. So if we're being critical of him, it's as he gets to ground, it's how he fights to protect the ball for that split second, allow his teammates, his Scotland support to get in and blitz away Menoncello. So Garbisi's having more issues with the ball on the tee. It'll be haunting him after the end of the French game.
Well, it's down to 10 seconds. So he's managed to place the ball on the tee again, a clean strike, and this time he is able to get the ball over the bar in between the sticks and land 3 points for Italy. A broad smile on his face.
A wry smile, I think, Stuart. he would sacrifice those 3 points, I think, for the three at the end of the French game, but yeah, great start for Italy.
Gosh, you can imagine the reaction around the stadium when, and I was about to say, he's taken all due care and attention to place the ball on the tee, and before he'd started his run-up, it topples over again, giving him about 12 seconds to correct it and then try and kick the 3 points. So Italy leading then by 3 points to nil, and Garbisi, that will sharpen the thoughts in his mind, I'm sure, as Italy inside their own 22 looking to spread the ball. Capuzzo running out of the 22 in support there, Ione across on this left hand side, Brex also up in the attack, and Italy now making some ground between that 10 and 22 just on the right hand side. Turner back to his feet, and it's back now with Martin Padsrello, the scrum half, who carefully with the side of the right boot positions himself to launch a box kick. Plenty of height in that, but a spin as well. That's going to land pretty much plumb on the Italy 10 metre line. Italy though knocking the ball forward, 3 minutes gone, 3-0 to the Italians, and a chance for the Scots inside Italian territory to try and hit back with the set piece.
A good ambition from Italy off the kick-off from Scotland. You think they're just going to do the kind of standard, just hit the forwards, set it up and then clear their lines, but actually the forwards, they dummy going into contact and release the ball to the backs, and I don't think Scotland actually are men down in defence, but they regroup, they gather their defensive line, connect again, make the tackle, and in the end it's the scrum half box kick not as far as he would have liked. The Italian chase, knock it on. So first scrum of the game, but it's a good attacking position for Scotland with the scrum right on this left hand side, so plenty of width for the backs to play with.
And Scotland forward slightly heavier in combined numbers as they once again look to Hugh Jones to try and gain some ground in between that 10 and 22. Dempsey does well. Fine offload there on towards Rory Darge. Darge just on the right hand side in between the 5 and 15 channels. Recycled by the scrum half on towards Gilchrist. He lowers his great height, takes the ball into contact. Russell with a little touch. Schumann takes the ball into contact. Back it comes again through the hands of Horn. Zip passing here from the Scots out towards the left hand side. Van der Merwe couldn't gather initially, works his way back and then runs into a clutch of numbered jerseys there in royal blue as Italy swarm round the Scottish left winger. Back it comes again, just under the legs of Dempsey there, rather untidy. Works its way across towards the right hand side. Fine offload, King on now, and Scotland are trying to gain some ground on that right hand side. The ball now works its way back towards Jones. Jones still has it inside the 22. Dempsey over the ball just now. Darge needs a little bit of support. His number 8 is right behind him. After a little untidy spell, Scotland have regrouped and reorganised in that 22. They look to recycle again. Turner this time takes the ball into contact. Turner looking for some options towards the left hand side. This is excellent play here from the Scots to look for an opportunity to try and finish off. Once again, Turner clattering into these Italian jerseys. The last of the players, Cannoni, the lock forward, back to his feet. Turner over the ball at the moment, looking for quick opportunity to recycle, and he works his way down towards the left hand side. Horn in again, on towards the inside centre. Redpath looking to add to his single Scottish try. Recycled once more. 16 Scotland phases. Horn again over the ball at the moment, inside those final 5 metres. Scotland play some crash ball there, practically on the line. They'll look to recycle again as the forwards as a collective go in once more, and they've managed to find their way across the line. Sheer persistence there, a brilliant effort. Up on his feet is Xander Fagerson. He may well be awarded the score. If so, it will be his 3rd international try, and it's a fine response from the Scots. Incessant pressure inside that 22, and Xander Fagerson the last to his feet and may well be the try scorer. But Scotland are now leading by 5 points to 3 with 6 minutes gone.
Yeah, it's 18 phases or so, and actually for the first 10 or so of those, Italy were defending really well, pushing Scotland back, and then it's a loose offload from Darge that is then fly hacked, and the ball ends up, you think it's going out into touch on that far side. Cam Redpath does really well to keep the ball in play, and there's another offload. Finn Russell makes yards, and then that gets Scotland on the front foot. Italy are trying to get their defence set, and Scotland just maintain that tempo, play a bit of width. Cam Redpath again heavily involved, does well getting to within inches, and then it's just the forwards just have that patience then just to go with their pick and go game. Xander Fagerson gets a really good low body position. He gets support from his forward friends, and from that distance they manage to propel him over the line.
Just watching Finn Russell looking to add the extra points. Then we'll head to our studio to get the thoughts of Peter Wright. The ball working its way around, and he's made it, and he keeps up his perfect record kicking from the tee in this championship. 7 points to 3. Peter, a word from you. It's been unusual in recent times for Scotland to finish off a move when they've accumulated 16-17 phases. It's quite often petered out, but on this occasion they've managed to get the 7 points.
Yeah, there was some real venom in those carries. You know, George Turner in particular. Schumann took a really good one. Obviously Xander Fagerson gets the try, but if you go all the way right back to the start with the sort of fly hack from Italy, I think it was Cam Redpath. I think it might have been Cam Redpath that just managed to keep the ball in. A bit of acrobatics to keep that in, and then there was a couple of times it could have been fumbled and dropped, but the guys managed to keep the ball alive and actually finished it off pretty well in the end.
From the restart, Scotland finding touch, Italy with the throw in. Katera then with the throw towards the front of the line. cleaned up by the Italian. Panzereno looking to recycle ball, and Italy then making some ground beyond that 10 metre line, reversing it. Garbisi again looking at the options towards his left hand side. Italy look to try and pick and go once more. Their forwards going in. Can see Rory Dards as part of the tackle, and this time Italy penalised for taking the ball into contact, not releasing. And it's Italy 3, Scotland 7, with 8.5, almost 9 minutes of the first half gone. Cloudy skies overhead. It was a little muggy earlier on, but we had a shower of rain just before kick-off, and I think that's cleared the air somewhat as Finn Russell then aims a kick just down that Scotland right hand channel, takes play back into the Italian half just beyond that 10 metre line, and it will be a throw in for the Scots. Another attacking opportunity, Colin.
Yeah, it's really good play. It's a great tackle from Dempsey, and it's a set play from Italy that they crash into the midfield, then they sweep back from the direction that they've come, and then Ione, the winger, gets in on that third phase looking to pick and go around the fringe where Scotland are maybe not set, but Dempsey puts in a great tackle, rolls out the way. Fagerson gets onto ball really well,
and Cummings did ever so well to win the ball in the line out, and coming on to the raid of knots was Kyle Steyn, recycled just along the 22. Schumann carries with some real purpose. Horn hurdles the players on the deck, and then he's able to work ball out towards the right hand side. Jones again, but taken into contact, and he just lost possession of the ball, and Italy from their own try line were able to clear it just outside of the 22. But again, the intention was good there from the Scots. Jones just losing possession. They've taken a quick throw-ins, the Scots, back in towards that 22 they go. Horn once more looking to recycle. Dempsey goes to ground. Darge is over possession of the ball again. Horn again looking across that line. Scotland once more looking for opportunities. The try scorer Xander Fagerson now up and over the 22. Horn goes in. He's able to get back to his feet. Kinghorn now on the angle. Kinghorn, nice little offload towards Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe's found the gap, but he's clawed down 6 metres short of the line. Brilliant play from the left winger there. Ball goes astray, but is mopped up, and Scotland coming again. Dempsey looking very dangerous indeed. Takes 2 Italian players to bring him down. 5 metres from the line. Scotland again looking to try and spread the ball wide. Gaps beginning to open up. Russo, the lock forward, just closing the door there on the Scots. 5 metres from the line again, but they've got men over, and Kyle Steyn is one of them, and Steyn is over for his 11th international try. 5 minutes after Xander Fagerson landed the first blow, Kyle Steyn scores again, and Steyn on that right hand side may well have sustained a little injury in the process, but he's over for Scotland's second try of the game, and they now lead by 12 points to 3 with the kick to come.
That's a fantastic try from Scotland. You thought the attack off the line out was excellent, and then Hugh Jones unfortunately loses the ball forward. Italy clear it to touch, and the referee decides that's their advantage over, and you can hear him saying ball's still live. Finn Russell's got it on that touchline. He gives the quick line out into Andy Christie, who makes great yards into the Italian 22, and then it's just really clinical, patient play. Van der Merwe makes that break. You think he's almost there, he's looking for the offload, but what he does really well, he doesn't force it, because Italy have got the men around the ball. The offload's not on, so he just allows Scotland to reset, and then Finn Russell has a dart, he gets close, and next time out as Kinghorn gets the offload away to Steyn. It's just eventually the wave after wave, Italy run out of defensive numbers, and it's another really, really good Scotland score.
Russell stands his full height with the ball on the tee. Be mindful that the shot clock is ticking down. Italy come racing off the line to try and disrupt his flow, but no problems again. So a second conversion for Finn Russell, and in terms of international points, that keeps the scoreboard ticking over quite nicely for him. 369 international points now. Perhaps more importantly, it means Scotland now lead by 14 points to 3, and they've played just 13 minutes of the first half. Garbisi's kick is long, picked up there by Andy Christie from the restarts. A cleaner restart from the Scots, and they're by that 5 metre channel on the right hand side of their 22 in the sunshine, strip of sunshine on the park. Box kick there from George Horn. 3 back just the other side of the halfway line for the Italians. One of them is Capuzzo, takes the ball into contact, mopped up again by Panzarello, looking to get some width on that left hand side. Federico Russo goes in just to add his bulk, winning a penalty there for the Italians, just beyond the halfway line on their left hand side.
Disrespectful.
Penalised for going off their feet.
Sorry, Stuart. I've got to come in there. All these referees know everybody's first name, and yet all of a sudden George Turner's red headgear. I think that's pretty disrespectful for a referee.
It depends. If he now calls everyone by their headgear or hairstyles, then it's all right. But if he's calling some by names, you just think if you're building rapport with the players, then that's the way to do it is actually converse with them rather than preach to them. George Turner just unfortunate there that he was trying to counter-ruck, and Scotland recognised that he was getting through. He was under the Italian attack, under their support, but because the men come in behind George Turner, they just drive him to the ground, conceding the penalty. Italy kick to the corner, get their line out going.
Russo does well to win the ball in the line. A little chip kick. Italy give chase. I don't know to get over the line for the score, and they do. The outside centre, Juan Ignacio Brex, in for his 5th international try and today's 54th international cap. And Scotland were opened up there. Delicate footwork, little chip inside that 22. Brex racing away, and he's in for a score. And immediately after Scotland open up a 14-3 lead, it's suddenly 14 points to 8. And we'll get to see this again, Colin, from the edge of the 22. The most delicate of chip kicks, and Brex was racing away just in behind the initial Scotland defensive cover.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's an outstanding execution of a training ground move, as you like to call it. So they set their line out up on the 22, almost like the dummy drive, so that ties the Scotland forwards in. George Horne is at the front of the line out, so he has to stay in case they come back down that blind side. And then it's the recognition of where the space is, where you'd want your scrum half to be, but because George Horne's right at the front of the line out, he's not been able to get across. It's Panzarello, the scrum half, that puts it, and it's the angle of the chip. It's towards the posts, which makes it even further for George Horne to get to. Blair Kinghorn as fullback is the other side of the posts, looking at the width of the Italian attack. So yeah, it's really, really good execution. They get the luck of the bounce. It pops up perfectly for Brex, but they deserved it because of the execution of the try.
Russell turning away there, just maybe a little bit too much length on the restart kick. So a quarter of an hour gone, and the scoreline already is Italy 10, Scotland 14. A high up and under, and Russell is able to gather and offload under some pressure there inside the Italian half of the field, central just shy of the 10 metre line. Recycled darts on towards Russell again, delicate through the midfield, a little grubber kick played down, and could see Garbisi somewhat uncertain and able to pick the ball up, but he's launched it down that line over the halfway line. He's sitting close towards the touchline when he played the ball from hand onto that trusted left boot, and it provides an opportunity now with this throw in just close to the Scotland 10.
Sorry Stuart, he's done well. He's actually also claiming that Finn Russell knocked the ball into touch, which I don't know if the Van der Vestes and the TMO might be having a look at, but it seems that it is Scotland's ball. So yeah, grubber kick from Cam Redpath, not much else on. You do wonder, does he just keep it in hand, does he just go through another phase? But goes to the boot. It's a good execution, and Garbisi does well with a tricky ball that's guddling around at his feet to then turn and get a good clearance away. Scotland not tidy with the line out, but they do win the line out. George Horne looks like he'll put a box kick in.
Gilchrist it was, who's be under a little bit of pressure on the line, but that kick is just clearing the halfway line. Scotland again looking to mop up Sander Fagerson. Pass again, just the accuracy perhaps slightly astray there, as Scotland have the advantage just now, forced back into their own half, but practically now on that halfway line. They'll work it back towards Russell. Russell launches one forward, 2 back inside the Italian 22. They've time to address the situation and launch it forward. Capuzzo puts plenty of distance on the kick. Kinghorn follows it into touch and then immediately throws back in towards Russell, who then returns the ball to Kinghorn, takes it into contact up close towards the halfway line. Just in behind is Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe tried to gain possession of the ball there, but we'll head back to Glasgow and get the thoughts again of Peter Wright. It's one of those games, Peter, you can't take your eyes off any moment in the contest.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good game. Both teams try to play well. Gardner there saying that George Horn's allowed to be taken out of the game because of his hands on the ball. Ball's not out the ruck. He's not got his hands on the ball. The guys, he comes up the side. That's not a counter ruck. That's offside. Blatant offside for me. We've got the replay, obviously we can see that, but thankfully Scotland get the point. But no, it's good. Both teams trying to play, which is what Townsend said at the very start. Both teams will try and play the game. As I said before, the back three that Italy have got are really dangerous. They've not got them on the ball yet, but they're a really dangerous trio that can really hurt Scotland. So Scotland just got to keep playing, just get the basics right, make sure they keep the ball, and they'll hurt the Italians.
Grant Gilchrist was clattered there. James Robson, the doctor, onto the pitch. A brief examination of the Scotland lock forward, but he's fit and able to continue, so he'll join his teammates in this scrummage. A Scotland put in, and George Horn is just alongside Martin Argerello.
Sorry, Stuart, that Kyle Rowe has come back. All the Scottish replacements are warming up behind the Italian try line, but Kyle Rowe looks like he's come back over as if he's sort of been summoned as a potential going onto the pitch, but he's now just sitting, or standing rather, without getting stripped, so play continues.
Well, that's certainly one to watch, and Van der Merwe now has possession of the ball. Nice little pass towards Kinghorn. Kinghorn then accelerating up towards that 22. Scotland looking dangerous, certainly, as once more the scrum half. Good work from George Horn. A floated kick cross field in the direction of Andy Christie. Just a little bit too much height on that this time from Finn Russell. Christie was an isolated figure out on the left, but was certainly willing to take the ball on just on the edge of the Italian 22. Ball though floated over his head into touch. It will be an Italian throw in near side, just below our commentary position. 20 minutes gone. Italy 10, Scotland 14.
Finn Russell doesn't often get them wrong. Christie's in a lot of space, and the trajectory of the kick, it's so flat. It gets to Christie quickly, but it's so flat, but just that metre or so too high, so he can't get a hold of it. There was opportunity. Scotland, great counter ruck.
And they've been able to use Dempsey to offload once again on towards Russell. Russell then with the important pass, and Horn again goes in, beavering away, trying to execute possession of the ball there. Russell, Christie involved, back to Darge. Darge has it just on the edge of the 15 channel on that Scotland left hand side. Back it comes again. Scotland looking at Gilchrist this time to cross the halfway line, which he does. Horn has it once more, hoisted high then by Finn Russell. That again is a tantalising kick, and it's been gathered by Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe, almost like basketball style, tries to offload there, but the Italians have managed to steal possession, and Italy now from outside the 22. Only one option was to play it right footed downfield and force Scotland and Kinghorn back towards the edge of the 22. One-handed pick up there from Kinghorn. Kinghorn, who's enjoyed success in the past with a hat-trick of tries against the Italians. Of course, that happened a year ago, and it happened back, I think, in 2018 for him as well. But at the moment, Scotland have 2 tries on the board, and Xander Fagerson scoring the first, and the second coming by way of Kyle Steyn. Scotland have been awarded the penalty just on their own 10-metre line, and the players back to their feet now. A chance for Russell to get this back into Italian territory. 22 minutes of the game gone. It's a 4-point match. Scotland 14, Italy 10 here in Rome.
Yeah, the first 5-10 minutes Scotland were keeping everything in hand, going through phases. They've then gone to the air a little bit more, kicking it a bit. Capuzzo almost kept the ball in. He was trying to jump from out of the field and land in the field of play, but he didn't quite land in the field of play. So Finn Russell ekes every last yard, every last centimetre with that kick. So does well. But yeah, Scotland, they're kicking a bit more and not necessarily getting the rewards. The kind of game's gone a little bit more scrappy as a result of it. Error count has increased, but did well to win the penalty on that occasion, and it is an excellent kick from Finn Russell, so a good attacking position.
George Turner then from inside the 22 on the left hand side. Good hands there from the Scots as they win the ball in the line out, and it's recycled by Turner. Again, sharp passage of play here from the Scots. Turner goes in, George Horn picks up again, it's on towards Van der Merwe, flying into the challenge there, Van der Merwe, and he's floored as it's recycled again. Christie has it now. Christie always through that initial line of Italian defence. Horn once again, Schoeman carries the loose head prop, clattering into Italian jerseys. Sharp passing here from the Scots, but it's an interception, and Italy are away down the park. The referee had already blown, and Monty Ione thought that the whole of the Stadio Olimpico was opening up in his favour as he intercepted the pass, racing away, but the referee was bringing play back for an earlier infringement, much to the disgust of the vast majority of supporters inside the stadium. It remains Italy 10, Scotland 14, 23 minutes gone. Scotland, though, having been awarded the penalty inside the opposition 22, this is going to be significant, Colin, as after some deliberation, Russell decides he's going to go for the posts.
Yeah, interestingly, Russell almost allowing Rory Darge, his fellow co-captain, to make the decision there that it was the tackle off the ball that was the penalty. It was almost like Van der Merwe had been tackled by the Italian. I think it was Nicotera. The hooker wasn't necessarily on his feet as he made the tackle, so could have gone with either penalty, all pretty much under the posts, 9-10 metres from the try line. So it's a gimme for Finn Russell, and deciding actually we'll just take the 3 points rather than thinking scrum or line out, get another score.
Russell, a 52nd international penalty goal for the fly half, and he makes his way back towards the halfway line with 25 minutes of the first half gone, and Scotland open up a 7-point lead. Italy 10, Scotland 17.
It's interesting, Colin. Sorry, Colin, just that tackle you said with the guy on his knees, that's foul play. So the way foul play works is you take the player away, you take him out of the equation. Is that then a penalty try? Because there's no other defender there, he just runs through the hole and potentially scores. So that's Gardner, for me, that's the most obvious decision, no the one that he actually gave.
That's where you probably expect the TMO to come in and say that if Gardner, although I don't know if the TMO gave him the tackle off the ball. So as a team, maybe the officials have missed one there.
Horn again for the Scots, inside the 22, launches it forward into touch, pretty much plumb on halfway, just a step or two inside the Italian half of the field.
His box kicks have been really good so far, George Horn. That's the one thing you think Ben White's kicking game for Scotland exiting is something that he has superior over George Horn, but so far the kicks that Horn has put in have been excellent.
Yeah, accurate and with good distance, as it's now Nicotera again receiving possession after he was able to get a clean throw in at the line out. Sander Ferguson over the ball at the moment, but the Italians are able to secure possession once again and carry up towards the 10 metre line. Dempsey with the tackle, Pancherello again looking at the options. The Royal Blue jerseys coming in at a rate of knots here as they look to try and build some phases across the on-field advertising. Scrum half again called upon, just stops, changes direction. Christie was very sharp onto that, was able to snatch possession of the ball. The Scots have it once more, played right footed downfield, one bounce and into touch, and again the accuracy and distance was quite superb. And Colin, you quite rightly point out that's a 50-22 because that kick was from well inside the Scotland half, having received possession from inside his own half. And again another attacking platform. George Turner had a throw in from almost this very point 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, Andy Christie does really well. In fact, Christie has had an excellent opening 27 minutes. But I almost wondered if he'd gone over the halfway line and then he then gives the pass back to Finn Russell. You think, just give it to Van der Merwe in space, but Russell knows where the space is and puts in a kick measured to perfection, and Scotland's line out goes well, so they've set up the maul.
Gilchrist receiving it from Turner, the two players with the red skull caps on in Scotland colours this afternoon, and the white jerseys. Scotland players are camped on that Italian 5 metre line, once again looking to recycle. Van der Merwe hovering with intent. Now he joins in the drive. This is going to be a drive towards the line. Can they cross the line and ground the ball? They can indeed. Try number 3 for the Scots. 3 scores then coming inside the opening half hour of the contest. I think Piers Schoeman has landed the try this time. If so, it will be his 5th international try in his 30th appearance for Scotland. And Scotland again breaking the defences of the Italian side. It's Italy 10, Scotland 22 with the kick to come.
Yeah, and the forwards do an excellent job there. It's interesting because there's a couple of the Italians that are almost at the back of the Scottish maul, and so you think that there's very little opportunity for the ball to come out, but Scotland don't need the ball to come out because they just keep their control, they keep their patience, and they trundle forward, and then Pierre Schoeman, just with what the last 30 centimetres or so, recognises that he can just peel off the side and nosedive to the ground over the try line. It's a great score from the forwards, which again, it's only when the backs come in that makes the real difference, isn't it? So while Schoeman gets the credit, it's really the backs that set that up.
Van der Merwe's contribution absolutely essential to it, as Finn Russell, I'm trying to read Peter Wright's expression from all this way, as Russell
he's missed for once.
He has indeed. Well, that's taken 3 completed games and almost half an hour of this match for Russell's record to go. Little shake of the head there. 22 points to 10. Played almost half an hour, and Peter, you have to say that after conceding so early on a penalty goal in the first minute, Scotland have managed to get themselves together and play very aggressively, but to land 3 tries inside half an hour sets them up perfectly to try and get this elusive bonus point this time around.
Yeah, their tempo and accuracy are fantastic. The Italians are really struggling to reset in defence. Even that maul, there are 3 guys at the back of the Scottish, where the Scottish players are. And of course Schoeman then runs through, I think it was the 10, to actually score the try. So that was actually bad defence from the Italians. No big guys in front of Schoeman. But for me, the tempo, the pace, the decision making from all the players, you know, every single one of these guys at the moment is playing particularly well. Dempsey's carrying well, his 2 second rows are carrying, the front row are carrying, and it just gives them multiple options when you've got so many players on the front foot.
I think that's it, and the Italian defence, they're flying up at Finn Russell. They recognise the threat that he is, but what Scotland are doing really well is either Russell's getting it quickly through the hands, or George Horne's just hitting these forwards. So you've got big Schoeman carrying well, as Peter says, Christie, Dempsey. So it's the variety to Scotland's game is really good just now as well.
See Lamaro involved now for the Italians, as he received the pass from his scrum half there, was able to open up some space for the Italians, who run the attack at the moment between the 10 metre line and the 22, looking to ship the ball out again. Garbisi played this time through by Breck's left-footed kick, and Breck, certainly the Italian try scorer, using his left boot. Grubber kick then into some space inside the Scotland 22, and it presents a throw-in fear for the Scots, as Italy were trying to be a little bit more creative in attack. Of course, they've opened up Scotland once so far in this first half with an excellent kick, very well executed set play. Turner then throw in for the Scots. George Turner finds Cummings down very quickly to George Horne. Scotland just beyond their own 5 metre line at the moment, on the right hand side of the pitch, attacking the posts to our right, playing right to left in this first half. Russell's kick to touch, and that takes play getting beyond the 22, between the 22 and the 10 metre line. Italy will have the throw in. Crowd have been a little bit more subdued, as you can imagine, with a scoreline of Italy 10, Scotland 22, but they have had their moments to cheer in this first half, Colin.
They have indeed, yeah. As you say, Stuart, it's been an excellent 32 minutes of rugby. Scotland on that occasion just being very professional, diligent with how they exit from their own 22. There's an error from Italy, an overthrow at the line out, which George Turner decides to try and put his left boot to, connects more with the shin, so it gives Italy a chance to launch a bit of a less structured attack.
Italy Now the half-backs linking up there. Padrello on towards Garbisi. Italy down the left hand side. Padrello with his arms outstretched. He now has the ball in his hands as Italy again looking to try and regroup and reorganise. And flat out there is Andy Christie, who's involved defensively for the Scots. Padrello again looking to set up the opportunity for the Italians as they've spread it from a central position across towards Ione on this right hand side. Scrum half again goes in, is able to gather possession of the ball. Garbisi hoists an awkward kick there cross field, and Kyle Stein was back inside the 22, had the option to call the mark. It's Italy 10, Scotland 22, and Italy just looking for some time to try and respond, having conceded those 2 tries after clawing the game back to 14 points to 10. They'll be disappointed the way the last 10-15 minutes have panned out for them.
Yeah, got a penalty now which the Italians have duped the referee there, that Andy Christie's doing everything he can to try and get out the way, and there's 2 Italians with their legs pinning him into position so that he can't roll away. And Angus Gardner, rather than recognising that, seeing the movements of Christie to try, he's bought the bluff from the Italians, and he said, no, you're not rolling away. And
Colin, these guys are world-class referees, supposedly. You can see the 2 players are kneeling on Christie, not letting him. Scrum half's got his knee jammed right into Christie's hip. There's no way Christie can move for that. And you've got one of the best referees in the world, I assume, because they're doing these games, who's looking right at it, and he's penalising the wrong player. It's that's what frustrates you about referees sometimes, is they're watching the incident happen and they don't see it.
And better tee time for Garbisi on this occasion. Placed the ball on the tee and he's landed another 3 points for the Italians. Italy 13, Scotland 22. And I'm sure he'd take again all due care and attention from placing the ball on the tee. On this occasion there was no drama, and he was able to land a further 3 points for the home side. Russell's kick just downfield is gathered, and Italy again looking to try and claim some valuable metres inside their own 22. Again, Padrello looking to control the ball with the outside of the right boot. You can hear the voice of the referee in the background, Angus Gardner, looking for the Italians to get on with things as they deliver the box kick. Kinghorn then clattered as he was able to get the ball, and from close quarters Dempsey is able to offload. Scotland were very close towards that right touchline there, but were able to keep the ball in play. Back it comes again, and they're weaving their way. Red path at close quarters once more, but stolen by Italy, and they're looking now to build from close towards the halfway line. Very open game at the moment as Italy, and once again Ignacio Brecht's trying to create some space. Isolated figures down this right hand side, coming over trying to support those on the ball. Loose line up. Linus stayed on his feet there, was almost losing his shots as he is a very desperate figure trying to get possession of the ball here. Italy again from that 10 metre line. Padrello goes in as the Catera was leading the sort of initial line of attack. Padrello once more squats down, delivers the ball on towards Brechts, out towards the midfield. Menicello doing very well. Still Italy have it. Once again they look to recycle. This time it's Lamaro, an open side flanker, taking the ball into contact. Phase after phase here from the home side, but they can't breach the Scotland 22 just at the moment. Got 3.5 minutes of the match left to play. Christie with the interception now. Christie over the halfway line. Christie is almost like a school kid being chased by school bullies there, as he was looking over his shoulder into the 22. He was able to go on. The penalty has been awarded there by Gardner, the referee, because Christie couldn't release, but it was almost a scene from a playground as he was running away from a clutch of kids that were trying to chase after him. Turner now has it. Turner in some open prairie, runs up towards that 10 metre line, plants the ball back, but it's another penalty to the Italians. 2.5 minutes just over of the first half left to play. Italy 13, Scotland 22.
It's almost like a schoolboy game, that you get people in positions that they're never used to. Andy Christie in all the open prairie, as you say, Stuart, does incredibly well to gather the loose ball and then puts the afterburners on until he gets to the Italian 22 where he hits the quicksand, and I think the parachute's deployed. Italy get back, they manage to grab him down, and all the Scotland support are looking for the offload. I think it's Kinghorn, it's George Horn, both in support. They're thinking, give us the offload. Christie can't, he puts the ball back, and it's then won by the Italians, or they win the penalty. They take the quick tap and they kick it downfield, and it's George Turner in the backfield, and he's looking around thinking to have to go and get this loose ball, and then he goes on a rampage, and he's the one that then it's a good tackle from the Italian defence, and then the Scottish support trying to support George Turner. They go off their feet, sealing off the breakdown, and that's what gives Italy the penalty. And we've had a little bit of a rest just now, which is well deserved for the players, I think, given the harem-scarum, lung-bursting nature of the last 3 or 4 minutes.
You go back to the Christie tackle. Brex, at no point does Brex actually release Christie. Look at the replay, he keeps his hands on him the whole time. Now the law says that once you've made the tackle, you want to go back on the ball, you must take your hands away and then go back, and if you look at the replay, it doesn't do that.
Italy with this long range penalty goal. Padrello, this his first kick of the afternoon, has landed 1 try in his previous 6 internationals, so this from beyond the 10-metre line, relatively straight. It's a clean strike, and it's a fine 3 points for the Italians. Padrello then landing a penalty goal inside the final 90 seconds of the first half. It's Italy 16, Scotland 22, and if ever a side were hanging on to the coattails of the Scots at the moment, it is the Italians. They're creeping their way back into the contest again, and the restart kick again carries the 22, and the scorer of those last 3 points, Padrello, squatting down, delivering a box kick. Plenty of height and distance on that, up towards the halfway line. Won by Kinghorn, was able to then straighten up and face those posts attacking Xander Fagerson, one of the Scotland try scorers in the first half. Both prop forwards have landed tries, as well as Kyle Steyn. Oh, that ball goes loose, it goes astray, and Italy playing a little bit of football now into the 22. Redpath's got a lot to do, so is Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe able to keep the Italians on their feet. Capuzzo it was that was able to take the ball over the line, but he had no opportunity to ground it. The giant figure of Van der Merwe, 6'4", and also Cam Redpath, they were under pressure to try and close the door as Italy hacked the ball forward. The kick and chase after again some loose play by the Scots, almost opening up a great opportunity for the Italians, but it's back. It's a goal line dropout for Russell and for Scotland, and we've played almost now the full 40 minutes of this first half. The clock goes red. Russell from behind his own line plays the ball downfield just towards the edge of that 10-metre line. Italy again accelerating into contact. Padrello once more looking to recycle ball. The Scots look to stay in their feet, organise their defence from a central position once again. They take the ball into contact, the Italians. They have it once more, and again a dangerous figure has been Sebastian Negri. Carries up towards the edge of the 22, recycles Italy back inside the Scotland 22. Padrello once more on this spine towards Fischetti. He's grounded inside the 22 in his scrum half, just on his feet, behind him, behind the loose head prop. And Italy again, 6 phases for the Italians at the moment, looking to close out the first half with another score. Russell with the tackle. Italy just in between the channels on the left hand side inside the 22. Scotland again, and Cummings just reorganises. Can see Ferrari right in the very thick of it, the tight head prop. That ball goes loose, but is picked up again by Italy just outside the 22. Italy still going, powerful running here from Nicotera, does very well indeed. Padrello now on towards Lewis Liner, who is up in support. He goes flying to the ground. Italy again trying to regroup and reorganise in these royal blue jerseys. 11 phases of play now. Italy 16, Scotland 22. Last passage of play in what has been an absorbing first 40 minutes. Again, the prop forwards go in to try and show a bit of power. Ross Vincent was the last of the players to join in the drive, but Italy are penalised again, taking the ball in without releasing, and the Scottish defence, a little pat in the back from Xander Fagerson to Rory Darge, a right-footed clearance downfield from Finn Russell, and that goes into touch, and Scotland have been able to weather that Italian storm right on half-time. Italy 16, Scotland 22, but the game continues.
Yeah, great work from Rory Darge. Great discipline from Scotland in their defence, all the phases that Italy threw at them. And interesting that Finn Russell could have taken the tap and then kicked the ball into touch, ended the half, but no, he's gone long with his giving Scotland the opportunity to launch one last attack in this half. What a half it's been. It's exhausting.
It's been an absorbing contest, and certainly those inside the stadium will feel it's been money well spent coming here as Hugh Jones again takes the ball into contact just on that 10 metre line. Now it's Gilchrist again driving over the 10. Horn has it out again, looking for the options. Russell, but the ball dislodged. Italy have it once more, and again Padrello goes in, has a little look, and he just opts to play the ball into the stand opposite where we are. There's the blast of the referee's whistle. Angus Gardner signalling it is half time, and Scotland, well, they've landed 3 blows in the opening 40 minutes. Tries for Xander Fagerson coming in 6 minutes, Kyle Stein 5 minutes later, and then just on the almost in the half hour, 28 minutes gone, Pierce Schumann landing a third try for the Scots. The extra points being added by the boot of Finn Russell. Italy, though, were able to come good as well in 14 minutes when Juan Ignacio Brex crossed the line, scored his 4th international try. It was a fine move involving a delicate piece of footwork from Padrello, the scrum half, launching a little chip kick into the Scotland 22, and it was a race to the line which Brex won, and at that stage it brought the scoreline back to 14 points to 10. Scotland have been able to eke out further points though, scoring those 3 tries and the kicks from Russell, but Italy have very much kept in the contest with penalty goals from both Garbisi and from Padrello, and it's a half-time scoreline of Italy 16, Scotland 22.
Italy versus Scotland. The Six Nations, live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
That was really the vehicle, I think, that kind of kick-started Simple Minds in Australia.
Simple Minds enjoyed success down under before anywhere else in the world.
People just took to us instantly, and we took to the country.
Join me, Billy Sloan, over 40 years on, as I follow the band on tour in Australia. I find out why this love affair has stood the test of time.
Every time I see them, they get better.
And bring you exclusive live tracks as the band perform at the country's most iconic venue.
Sydney Opera House, to start a tour there, you know, we had a dream come true.
Billy Sloan, tonight from 10 on BBC Radio Scotland.
Sports Sound Rugby on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra with me, Andy Burke. Round 4 of the Six Nations. And at the break here in Rome, it's Italy 16, Scotland 22. The Scots have outscored the hosts by 3 tries to 1, but have not been able to shake the Italians off on the scoreboard. Just a 6-point game at the break. Stuart McFarlane and Colin Gregor have been describing the first half action. Tom English is with us also in the Stadio Olimpico. Peter Wright is watching on from our Glasgow studio. And Tom, that was a fairly breathless opening 40, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, Colin said he was exhausted. I'm exhausted as well.
Which is astonishing given your fitness levels.
Absolutely. You know, I've got a big engine on me. It kind of never really settled down. It was just madcap. Lots of mistakes, but lots of brilliance as well. Scotland incredibly efficient in attack. I think kind of 3 attacks, 3 tries. Christie having a massive game, George Turner having a massive game, but then you look at the scoreboard and you think, what's all that about? That doesn't make much sense. You know, Scotland had the lion's share Although the last 6 or 7 minutes, slightly concerning.
I was actually a little surprised Italy kicked the ball out there, because
Yeah.
they seemed to have a wee bit of wind at their backs.
They got into the Scotland 22 a couple of times, looked threatening, and the crowd started to get engaged again. The crowd has been very quiet for a lot of that first half, and Lamaro is having a big game as well, carrying a lot. So while, when they got the third try, I thought Scotland are going to put this game to bed quite quickly. That was my first mistake.
It's not the Scottish way, Tom.
It's not the
Should know
Scottish
that by
way.
now.
But they're putting an awful lot into it. They're getting a little bit sloppy. Their penalty count is rising slightly. They're giving Italy a few ins into this game, and reasons for this crowd to engage, and reasons for these Italian players to believe. That said, when Scotland have ball in hand in the opposition half, they look like they're going to score. So I'm not that concerned about it, but I'd like to see them score another couple of tries just to put more distance on the board.
And we've been here before in this championship in terms of building a strong position, a strong lead, and not quite having that ruthlessness to keep the foot in the gas and put it to bed.
We have. We've been here before in this stadium where Scotland have looked home and hose, and all of a sudden it's looking a little bit dicey. And they will all know. They'll know all of that. I'm very encouraged by what Scotland have been doing. They've done an awful lot of things really, really well. A lot of players playing really well, but it's just giving away those penalties. Italy staying in touch. If it goes into the last 20, we've spoken about this, and Italy are still in touch, I might be a little bit concerned. But I think there's enough firepower and enough excellence in this Scotland team. Their third quarter of games, particularly strong, Scotland, and Italy's particularly weak. So I would expect Scotland to come out in the first 20 and maybe build a lead that proves unassailable.
Peter Wright, how about you? Are you sitting comfortably in our Glasgow studio at the moment with Scotland 6 points up at the break?
No, definitely not. I'm not I don't kind of listen to stats very often, but Tom's one is just before the start of the match about each quarter how many points we've scored. It concerns me that we've only scored 3 in the last 20 minutes, and I think Italy said he had scored 17, so that concerns me a little bit. But the other thing that concerns me is that he uses the bench too quick. He's been criticised for not using the bench, and I just worry that this time he might decide to put guys on, because I don't think, to be honest with you, all the players on the pitch are doing a really good job. There's not one I would criticise. Cam Redpath a little bit. I think he can be a little bit loose at times, but you're comparing him with Sione Tuipulotu, which is not the right thing to do, but it's hard not to do that. So I just wish he would tighten up just a wee bit. But the forwards, I think, Christie's been outstanding, Dempsey's been outstanding, defensively Darge has been really good, front five have all been pretty good, so we don't want to make those changes too quick, because these boys are good enough and, more importantly, fit enough to go 80 minutes. Now, he's had criticism in the past about using his bench or not using his bench, and I just worry he maybe uses that too quick. It's important, first 10 minutes of the second half, they've got to score first. If they let the Italians score, it brings the crowd into the game big time, and obviously it gives the Italians themselves a massive lift, because for me they've not created that much, and they really shouldn't be as close to Scotland as they are by the way they've played, but they are. That's international rugby for you, and Scotland have got to make sure it doesn't hurt Scotland in the end.
I think the bench is an interesting one, because Townsend needs to get a feel for the second half, and if the game is getting away from Scotland, or if Italy are building momentum similar to what Wales did, it's what can Gregor do in those situations to reassert a bit of control and get Scotland back into the game, and that's where you maybe look at going to the bench. But yeah, if Scotland start the second half and get the momentum and that they've got the flow of the game, that they're in control, then I absolutely agree with Peter that you don't make subs for the sake of making subs.
I suppose the tone was set for this entire first half, Tom, in the opening play. Scotland penalised from kick-off. Andy Christie done for holding on. Paolo Garbisi lines up his kick, and once again the ball falls off the tee. I mean, you'd think the guy would have learned his lesson, surely.
I mean, what is it about it? The way he must be placing the ball on the tee, his technique must be slightly. I didn't think it was the hardest thing in the world to do, is it, Colin?
I didn't think so either. In a hurricane, perhaps, yes, but yeah, it's pretty calm today, so not sure whether he's just fancies building a bit of suspense or drama.
Yeah, he's like you, Tom. He likes to wait till the deadline before his best stuff comes out. He likes to wait till the clock's in single digits before he can line up his kicks.
I think he was right up against it as well on the clock, and it was a rushed kick, but he got it over. Fair play to him. And that was after that. That was a penalty given away on the start, the kickoff,
right from kickoff,
restart, reception. And from it's about 13 or 14 seconds, and they've already got a penalty. But Scotland settled into it after that. I thought George Turner's work in the build-up to the first try was absolutely outstanding. He must have been involved 4 or 5 times before Ferguson piled over. Absolutely brilliant. And I think Peter described the carries in that as venomous, and they were.
Yeah.
Those are real aggressive carries. So I thought that was a terrific try that they got.
Yeah, I think those carries from George Turner certainly made up from that appalling volley on the left foot they attempted when the line out went awry. That will
hardly, if Scotland win, that'll hardly be brought up tonight.
But the front five, you mentioned it, Peter, but some of the carrying from the front five has really given Scotland that forward momentum, and they've made the most of it in an attacking sense.
Yeah, 2 of the tries have been scored by props, so that tells you a lot of what Scotland are trying to do there. But when you've got guys the size and the skill set of Ferguson, Schoeman, you need to get them on the ball, and Scotland have. And George Turner, as Tom says, has been probably his best game for Scotland. He's been really, really dynamic, carrying really well. More importantly, his throwing at the line out has been pretty accurate. Well, it's been very accurate, which is really important, because that's the Achilles heel of his game. It gets into his head, and he loses it. But Gilchrist gives you everything, as he gives you the same all the time. Scott Cummins, I would like to see him doing a little bit more, but he's been okay today. So that's important, because it takes the responsibility away from the back row a little bit. If your front five are carrying 10 times, making 10, 11 tackles, it just takes so much pressure off your back row. So that's really important, and that's what the Italians are not doing. The Italian front five are not really getting into the game as much as Scotland. And the key to those contacts is the speed of the ball. The contacts are aggressive, they're dominant, and because they're aggressive and dominant, the speed of the ball is really quick, and that's what gives Scotland that front foot attack and makes it really difficult for the Italian defenders.
And that's where it's tailor-made for George Horne, and the fact that he's in it almost plays into that. I think what Italy are doing well is they are almost spot hit, like targeting Finn Russell, or looking at trying to put someone into his eye line outside him. So he's got kind of 2 people coming up at him, so someone on him, he's looking for that quick pass, and there's someone in his eye line, so he's not got that as an option either. And so that's where Scotland, then there's a little bit of hesitation, or they have to go kind of deep to the back, sitting behind the kind of the forward option. And that's where Italy can then kind of assert a bit of control. The front five, you almost expect them to be involved in this half, because there's only been 2 scrums. So it's not like they've had any scrums taking the legs, the energy out of them. And that's fair play to Scotland's front five for recognising, well, yeah, we're not getting exhausted by the scrums. We'll go and charge around the field.
Some of Finn Russell's kicking has been excellent, Tom, off the tee, although he missed his first one of the championship. We've just been spoiled with them knocking them over in this championship. But beautiful 50-22 kind of midway through the first half as well, which got Scotland some vital territory.
Yeah, and led to Schoeman scoring the 3rd try. Before that, it was a Christie intercept, which then gave Russell the chance to land the 50-22, which is excellent, and then Schoeman goes over eventually after a brilliant maul. So that was clinical. Christie's 2 kind of, not the second one wasn't an intercept, it was just pouncing on a loose ball, and he ran almost the length of the field. But how sharp has he been?
Yeah.
He's sniffing around everything. He's been hugely influential in this game. But that 3rd try, that's 22 points to 10 at that point, with the conversion. 3 attacks, 3 tries, and I'm thinking, this if they keep going at this rate, this easily bonus point victory, but a big victory. They just fell off it a little bit from there.
Just seen some pictures on our screens in front of us of the Scotland players in a huddle in the dressing room. Final messages before they come back out for the second half. What do you think Gregor Townsend and his coaches and indeed the players themselves will be discussing about what they need to do in this second half, Peter?
I think just get the accuracy back. They lacked a little bit of accuracy in the last sort of 10. Well, when they went 22-10 up, they lost a little bit of the accuracy. They lost a little bit of their way. Just get back to what the attacking plan is. Get the forwards on the front foot, making sure they're coming in at real hard pace, and that gets the Italian defensive line, because I think they are using the blitz a little bit. They're trying to blitz up on Russell just to put him under pressure. So when they're getting those big forwards coming in, Andy, it just stops that pace in their defensive line, and just get back to accuracy and basics.
Need to be a bit ruthless in the second half, Tom. They've not been at points in this championship.
No, and they have been ruthless for the first 27-28 minutes of this game. They need to go back to that, just to reset and go again the way they did in the first 27-28 minutes. Forget about the scoreboard. Just play with a lot of control, a lot of composure, a lot of efficiency. We've seen it from them already in this game. We'll just see a bit more of it, and they'll win, and they'll set up a big day in Dublin if they hold their nerve and stop making silly mistakes that allow Italy back into it.
Sports Sound Rugby on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. Round 4 of the Six Nations at the break here at the Stadio Olimpico. Scotland leading Italy by 22 points to 16, but this one is not done by any stretch of the imagination. Big 40 minutes coming up for both sides. The teams are back out on the field. We're just about ready to go. So let's hand back to our commentary team with Peter Wright, Colin Gregor and Stuart McFarlane.
Yeah, thanks again, Andy. Scotland players, as you mentioned, coming out of the section just below ground to our right hand side. The Italians from that portion on the left, and they've got a steady climb of steps before they get to the pitch level onto the park, and all are present and correct for both sides. Finn Russell will bounce the ball a few times just on the halfway line, gets the signal from the referee to get their second half underway, and launches one forward, and that kick was in the direction there of Michel Lamaro, the Italian back row forward, who was just a little bit behind the flight of the ball. But Italy, through Padrello again, are able, well, I thought he perhaps was going to position himself for the box kick, but it was once again Lamaro, the open side flanker, who was in a position just to gain a little bit more distance. So they're on the 15 channel. Now it comes back to Garbisi from his scrum half, and he launches it left footed downfield. 3 back inside the Scotland half for the visitors. Dempsey receiving the pass there from Kinghorn on towards Russell, out towards the left hand side. Cam Redpath now, he's tackled well by Lina on that Scotland left hand side. Lina gets back into position, of course making a debut appearance today in Italian colours, the 23-year-old Harlequins winger, and it's back quickly through the hands of the Scots, who are looking to get a feel of the ball in this second half and build some phases. Christie again coming on to play there from his scrum half, who again works it down towards Russell. So again Horn and Russell linking up well. Russell has it once more, and it's taken on this time by George Turner. Russell again out towards the left hand side. Scotland now, Hugh Jones inside the 22. Jones underneath the posts, go the Scots. George Horn, try number 4, bonus point, coming inside the opening 2 minutes of the second half. And again, that was a patient build-up play, spreading the ball from left to right. Russell involved in several occasions, receiving it from the try scorer, and in his 29th international cap, it's an 8th international try for George Horn. That takes him on to 45, I think it is, for 44 international points in all, because he's kicked a couple of conversions in that time. But receiving the pass there from Hugh Jones and scampering in underneath the sticks, 27 points to 16. There is now a bit daylight.
Going to check it.
Checking to see if there's any crossing, because Hugh Jones does really well. He's the kind of the behind the forwards runner. So Finn Russell, rather than going to those runners in front,
potential obstruction by number 1 Scotland in the lead up to that try. So let's just have a look at that on the screen, please.
And often Hugh Jones in that,
he engages the contact. It's coming on the screen
so
now.
they're going to disallow this try. given the talk there from Van der Vesthuizen. Often with Hugh Jones, when he's the kind of the person behind the forwards, you expect him to give the pass and go to the wider out, but he just straightens. He does really well. He recognises where the space is, but it's because of the gap that Pierre Schoeman creates. But that is like every time you run that play, these things happen.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's.
So regardless if he plays into that gap, he plays the opponent without the ball.
The deception play from Schoeman, he then runs into the Italian number 8, Ross Vincent.
And then come back through the gap.
So and they're saying that's where the gap that Hugh Jones went through was created illegally. So no try for George Horne.
Let's see, man, other times you penalise that. Happens every single breakdown, just when you do an attack. That's the line everybody runs. Let's see how often they penalise it.
Because you're almost saying actually that Schoeman's done well. If he has made a defender fix on him, then that's what you want, because that's where the gap is created. Schoeman didn't go out his way to obstruct, to bump the Italian defender to get him out of the way. So yeah, it's a frustrating one, that one, I think, for Scotland. Dreadful kick from Garbisi though.
Garbisi, no real accuracy there. Scotland looking
equally bad from Kinghorn.
The Scotland fullback Kinghorn launching it high. Now it's back. Opportunity here for the Italians. Ione taking the ball into contact just on that 10 channel. Then sharp passage of play. Padrello out towards the right hand side. 3 across on that right hand channel for the Italians. And again, they look to regroup and reorganise. Of course, they've got Lewis Laina out wearing 14 this afternoon on his debut. Italy now trying to accelerate up towards the 22. They have the advantage at the moment. Grubber kick played through. Will the bounce of the ball be kind for the debutant? It is indeed. He throws the ball into the stand closest to him. And Lewis Laina, the 23-year-old, the son of an Australian legend, the Harlequins player, has scored in his debut and has almost brought the house down. Delight around much of the Stadio Olimpico, because this young man has brought the game back to within a single point on his debut this afternoon. 44 minutes gone. Italy 21, Scotland 22.
It's excellent recognition of where the space is in the backfield for Scotland, and then the execution, the weight of the kick. I think it's from Garbisi on his left foot. It's absolutely perfect, and Laina gets in unopposed. So yeah, it's a great score from Italy. That Scotland will be disappointed though. The kind of the poor up and under from Kinghorn that just basically went straight up, no distance on it, and a few phases later it is that Italy score. They seem to have a penalty advantage, but Scotland they didn't get their defence set, they didn't get organised, they didn't apply pressure to the Italian attack, just allowed Italy to control it. And then Garbisi, relatively straightforward conversion, rattles the post with it. So what should be a 1 point lead for Italy is actually a 1 point deficit.
Yes, he's repeating a lot of what happened in that game against France, because of course that kick in the last seconds coming back off the post, that was a different post, the left hand post on this occasion, and Italy have a penalty just outside their 22.
That's good.
So 21-22 the scoreline.
Kyle Staines has been penalised for competing for the ball.
Garbage, absolute garbage, Colin. You've got a guy getting lifted with 2 players, you've got a guy who tries to jump in to get the ball, he puts his hand up, he almost gets the ball, and he gets penalised. It's a competition. He doesn't knock the guy down, he doesn't tip him upside down, the guy's protected as 2 guys are holding him, and then you get penalised for that. It's another thing, going back to, you know why Scotland will never win anything? Because they can't do basics consistently well for 80 minutes. Blair Kinghorn, that was absolutely, that's terrible, the kick he put in there. They've just blew at Italy, and then you get a chance to really punish them, and he does that. That's why Scotland will never win anything, because we can't do things consistently well for 80 minutes.
It's interesting though, Scotland are tried disallowed, and then minutes later Italy score their try, so the momentum shift, the atmosphere in the stadium has totally changed.
Yep, and 1 or 2 Scotland players just looking a little bit uncertain at the moment, as Italy trying to play with a bit more fluency, but can't take the ball cleanly there as Rory Darge escapes up towards that halfway line, recycles ball. Russell has a look at the options towards his left hand side. The two centres perhaps linking up well. Van der Merwe now streaking away down this left hand side, too close towards the touchline. Capuzzo was almost trampled over by the giant winger there. He gets back to his feet, but on this occasion he just couldn't read the direction of that line there as he was getting closer. He was just on the angle, he couldn't apply a straight line of attack there, Van der Merwe, and he was forced into touch. It's certainly at the second time of asking, and Scotland, well, with 7 minutes of the second half gone, it was Lina who eventually forced the winger into touch. But again, the second half is starting in similar fashion to how the first played out.
Yeah, just Scotland making a few errors though. Van der Merwe needs to do more to stay in field there, and now they've conceded another penalty interfering in the air at the line out, and they're on the wrong side of Angus Gardner just now, Scotland. The momentum, the whistles are going in favour of Italy. So again, it's what does Scotland do just to make sure that actually the discipline's not getting away from them.
Nothing more.
Italy 21, Scotland 22. Scotland started that second half with what we thought was a legitimate George Horn try.
Sorry, Stuart. How embarrassing is that? He's shouting Grant, and it's Scott Cummins that should be coming across to speak to him. That's terrible from a referee. He doesn't even know the name of the players. If you don't know the name of the players, never call anybody with a first name. Always do it with numbers if you don't know every single player. That's so unprofessional for Gardner.
Italy from the restart have played it left-footed down field, carrying the halfway line. Picture of Gregor Townsend, who's deep in thought in these early stages of the second half. Italy then will look at Terra to throw the ball into this line. Bit of movement, bit of jostling towards the back, just over the stretching, the reaching arm there of Federico Russo. A lock forward there, arching his back and raising a left arm just to try and palm the ball backwards. And Italy have possession just in the corner of the on-field advertising. Again, Padrello just delays just for a split second, brings his fly half into play. Again untidy, goes loose, goes a begging onto the ball is the Scotland's co-captain there, and back row forward Rory Darge. Then it's launched downfield. Italy have a couple of players back, just trying to read the bounce of the ball there. Some uncertainty in the Italian ranks as Kyle Steyn was racing up, but Italy still have possession inside their own 22 just now. Ione having to scamper away, a lateral run then straightened up towards the edge of the 22, and he was looking for teammates to perhaps launch it downfield, which they have, but they've not been able to find touch. Only Finn Russell lurking on that left hand side. Van der Merwe now picks up once more, runs into Menoncello, the inside centre, recycled here by the Scots. Italy 21, Scotland 22. We've played almost 50 minutes of this game. Xander Fagerson with Christie in support. It's now back with George Horn, is able to recycle the ball out towards the right hand side. Kyle Steyn, final sidestep, ends once, and then he's eventually grounded there by Ross Vincent. Chance now again for the Scots. Christie has it once more, delicate hands there as Turner was just on his left hand shoulder. Recycled by Kinghorn on towards Russell. Fagerson couldn't take clean ball on this occasion. Dempsey is up, ball has been knocked forward after 6 phases, and the referee Angus Gardner will bring play back. 50 minutes of the game played. Italy 21, Scotland 22, and Italy, by the looks of it, are going to be the first team to make some changes with and see 2 front row replacements, certainly 3 in all, Colin, and some fresh legs and fresh minds coming on.
Yeah, Stephen Varney at scrum half is coming on, as well as the replacement hooker Gianmarco Lucchesi and Zalocchi, the prop. So yeah, Italy looking at going to the bench and making an impact. Scotland on that occasion, that they just lose control of the ball, and rather than just thinking, right, I'll tuck it under the arm and we'll just reset and we'll go next phase, they just get guilty of just shoveling ball on and on and on, rather than just, and so then in the end I think it's Rory Darge that makes the ultimate error, which is the knock on. But before that there were 2 or 3 opportunities just to gather it in and just reset, rather than feeling they have to keep forcing it. And I think Scotland, they just need to reassert a bit of control, kind of calm themselves down, go through some phases which we've not seen for a little while, and just kind of make Italy defend for a few minutes, just sort of take the energy out of the crowd, and then look at how they can kind of build scores from there.
So you can see that Lucchese and Zalocchi in that front row as Italy look for another set piece. What would be the third scrummage we've had in the game so far, coming 51 minutes into the contest. Varney, of course, will be involved here as well. He's the ball just tucked under his left arm at the moment, as the referee in conversation, particularly with the respective front rows. Italy 21, Scotland 22. 5 Sports Extra and BBC Radio Scotland, live from the Stadio Olimpico. Cloudy grey skies overhead, but after a muggy and wet morning, somewhat fresher March afternoon in Rome. And the penalty conceded by the Scots before Varney could feed the ball into the scrum.
White number 1 skewing on the far side of the scrum from Angus Gardner. So I'm not sure if is it Carl Dixon, the assistant ref over on that side, that decreed. Peter Wright wholeheartedly agrees with the decision by the sounds of things.
Oh yeah, Carl Dixon, he's an expert in scrimmaging, isn't he? He's even an expert in refereeing. He's a referee, he's an international.
12 minutes of the second half gone. Italy pinging the kick down towards the 22 corner over on that far side. Italy right. So they'll look now at Lucchese to feed the ball or throw the ball in towards the line, towards the front portion of the line.
Stop once! One stoppage, hold!
Sander Fagerson staying on his feet as it's almost stationary, a little bit of rocking side to side, but Italy now looking to spread the ball. They've got it in a central position. Varney again, little 1-2 there with Garbisi, who is up in support. Garbisi now is just in behind Lucchese, and it's the replacement hooker that was leading the initial drive there. Varney once again is in very quickly, sharp pass towards his right hand side. The royal blue jerseyed Italian players swarming around play, but have knocked the ball forward inside that Scotland 22. So the most recent current attack for the Italians breaks down. The last player back to his feet is Michel Lamaro. Little shake of the head there by the back row forward. Italy 21, Scotland 22. 13 minutes of the second half gone.
He's had a big game, Lamaro. He's a lot of ball carries that occasion that Scotland did. George Turner and Rory Darge do really well just as Lamaro's going to ground, trying to present the ball. The two Scots just managed to dislodge it, knock it forward, which Scotland needed that. Just Italy going through the phases, inching closer to the Scotland line. So we now have Scotland with a scrum put in their own 22. So need to first and foremost get a solid platform. I guess ideally they win a penalty, but if not, it's just looking at how they clear their lines. Got Kinghorn on this right hand side with his right foot that you could send it long. Finn Russell lined up on the left hand side, so you're not expecting Russell to kick from there, so if they go to him, it looks like they'd launch an attack.
Horn been told by the referee to play it. Back it goes to Kinghorn, and then he puts plenty on that. It bounces once just the other side of the halfway line. Line it on then to Capuzzo. Two relatively young, inexperienced Italian players, but looking to be the creative influence going forward, as the mark was called there just inside the Scotland 22. Referee signalling we can play on. 3 back, just outside the Italian 22 just now. Garbisi again, the fly half, launches one downfield. Kinghorn, eyes on the ball, able to read the tackle coming towards him, but tumbles to the ground. Needs a little bit of support here as Scotland looking to try and mop up outside of the 22. Gilchrist over the ball at the moment, and Rory Darge takes a step or two back. It's Pierce Koeman this time, drops the head and shoulders, goes into contact and recycled again. Sander Fagerson over the ball. Horn this time, studs of the right boot, dragging it back. Scots down, delivers the box kick again on that 15 channel on the Scotland left, taken there by Capuzzo. Italy again looking to try and provide some threatening play, and across to central position they go with Monty Ione once more, the Leon winger. 29th outing for him in an international jersey, as it comes back now through the hands of the Italians, gaining some ground, picked up there by Varney, on to Garbisi. Italy again, Gilchrist with the tackle. Italy short of that 10 metre line. Varney picks up once more. Garbisi then on it once more to Italian players that are making themselves readily available to continue the attack. Lina, a little bit of space opening up on this left hand side, and it's the Italian number 8 who's going to be almost in for the score. Clawed to the ground 3 metres from the line here. Ross Vincent, wonderful running from the Italian 8 there. The back row forward was away, he was flying, and it's now cross from Varney towards the right hand side. Move begins to peter out a little bit as Wander Merber is across on that right hand side, but picked up by Capuzzo. He sensed an opportunity, a little gap opening up there, but the flow back was flattened before he could get to that 5 metre line. Italy again on the attack. 16 minutes of the second half gone. Intricate passage of play here from the home side, powering their way up towards the line. Redpath and Kinghorn combining just to slow up this Italian attack. Negri over the ball at the moment with the pick and go. The open side flanker in support as well. It's Varney who's in for the score for the Italians. The replacement scrum half, a sniper's try. He was practically on the line, on the shoulder of the ball carrier, and Varney's in for the score. Stephen Varney, the Gloucester scrum half, a 4th international try in a 28th international appearance for him. He takes the congratulations of his teammates, and it's now Italy back in front. Italy 26, Scotland 22, 3 tries apiece. Italy with the conversion to come.
Well, what about the break from Ross Vincent out on this left-hand side? He just straightens, he turns, just accelerates away from Kyle Steyn. He then rounds, I think it's Kinghorn, and it's great last-ditch defence to bring him down. But then Scotland again, they just don't get their defence set, and it's Dempsey comes flying up, trying to put the pressure on Varney making that pass. Varney just doesn't make the pass, throws the dummy, and he dives over. And it's now that Gregor Townsend's going to the bench. There's 4 stripped, ready to come on. I think it's an entire front row. No, sorry, it's not. It's Matt Fagerson and Ali Price, as well as 2 of the front row. So I think, it's Ashman and Hepburn are the 2 front rows coming on.
Garbisi's kick is straight and true from a relatively acute angle there. The Scotland replacements already on the park. Garbisi back into his own half, and we have some game on our hands here. Italy 28, Scotland 22, and we're almost on the hour mark. 58.5 minutes gone, and Scotland will need to produce much more in terms of scoring inside this final 20 minutes if they are to arrest the direction this game has been going in, with Italy really taking it by the scruff of the neck in the last few minutes, but also to try and get themselves back in front. 28-22 with 59 minutes gone.
Just lost
Andy Christie, sorry Peter, on you go.
No, I'm just saying they've just lost all their shape in attack. That's the problem. There's no shape. They're all starting to panic. The guys that need to be calming it down are not calming it down. They're flustered, and you can see they're flustered. That to control they had in the first half has completely gone, and bringing the bench on, they have to do something, because at the moment all the momentum's towards the Italians. They just need to keep the ball, just stop making mistakes, stop losing ball cheaply, which is what they're doing at the moment, and defensively they just need to get their shape back.
Long throw in then from the replacement hooker Ewan Ashman, launched forward by Russell. 2 back inside the Italian 22. Ione on towards Capuzzo, a flatter right-footed kick downfield, bounces a couple of times, rather awkwardly trundles past Finn Russell, picked up though by Kinghorn inside his 22. Has got time to launch it forward, spinning kick, not certainly a touch finder, but gathered very quickly there by Garbisi, who again launches a high tantalising kick. Scotland looking to get hands on the ball. Russell was in full flight there, trying to secure possession for the Scots. Back it comes again and Scotland over possession of the ball, and this time they're using the left boot of Ali Price, one of the replacements, one of the 4 to join the fray on the hour mark. 60 minutes on the clock. Italy 28, Scotland 22. 3 tries apiece, but a much better start to the second period for the Italians, who were trailing 16-22 at the interval.
Ali Price's box kick was decent, but Scotland didn't really have a kick chase. It's Scott Cummings that's leading the charge, which you think something's broken down in the communications there. It's just about making sure with this little bit of kick tennis, it's a good take from Kinghorn, that Scotland just they maintain their control, their patience, just force Italy into an error rather than Scotland thinking that they need to try and do something from this position.
Back it comes then to Price, close to his own 10-metre line on that 15 channel, launches a left-footed kick. Again, Italy racing in to try and secure possession of the ball. Varney just pointing the way for his forwards to line up as he scoops the ball up and then looks for an important carry here. The Italian scrum half will get back into position, which he does so now, and again Varney just taking his time, reaching in there, stretching in with the right boot, then controlling. Box kick as Gilchrist was coming flying through. 3 back on the edge of the Scotland 22. One of them is Kinghorn. He plays it from hand downfield, and it's again Garbisi who's able to gather the ball in, launches it forward. Bit of a kicking game just at the moment. Russell is wrapped in the tackle there by Capuzzo. Capuzzo forces the Scotland fly half to the ground, but picked up then, and Xander Fagerson now looks to carry in between that 10 and 22. 18 minutes of the match left to play. Back it is with Ali Price, again delivering a kick with plenty of height and spin on it, just up towards the edge of the halfway line. Then a clutch of players form on both sides to try and secure possession for the respective sides. Varney gets back to his feet, looking at the direction of the referee after being told to leave it. Price tries to girdle the ball from some legs and shins, and goodness knows what that was sprawled out on the Stadio Olimpico turf there, close towards halfway. But Italy at the moment with the lead by 28 points to 22, and it remains still quite a quiet, almost a somewhat tense atmosphere inside the stadium now.
I think that's exactly the word for it, Stuart. Yeah, and I mean the last couple of minutes of the game have reflected that neither team looking to play at all, just going to the aerial ping pong as it's called, and it's Italy that make an error in the gathering of one of the Scotland kicks right on the halfway line, and so it means that it's Scotland that have an attacking scrum, something you'd rather it's Scotland putting the ball into this scrum over Italy. But it's what Scotland do to try and get through some phases and then recognise, okay, is it now on to kick into the Italian 22, put some pressure on the Italy line out, or do Scotland just make some yards and then keep a hold of ball and look at they can break the Italian defence down?
Yeah, we mentioned the tense atmosphere. Cue the stadium announcement to G up particularly the home support, as Scotland then from the scrum looking to gather and take the ball beyond the 10-metre line. They've shipped it from left to right, and Kinghorn again taking the ball in, but it's knocked forward. It was loose hands then from the Scots, and the opportunity goes a begging. Kinghorn just runs his fingers through his hair there, as felt there was an opportunity there down that right hand side not to be in this occasion from the Scots. The tackle coming in, dislodging the ball from the hands there of Blair Kinghorn, the Scotland fullback, slams the turf in disappointment, and with 16 minutes of the game left to play, it's still Italy in front by 28 points to 22.
Yes, it's a good tackle from Menoncello. Kinghorn just looking to straighten, kind of almost steps off his right foot and goes hard into the space, and Menoncello's coming across and he makes the tackle, and you can see Kinghorn's trying to get his right arm free with the ball in it to get an offload back on that inside support. But you also think kind of game management about the fact that Scotland haven't had any ball really in the second half. Does he need to force the offload? Can he just run hard, really look after that ball? Scotland well over the gain line. You then play away from there. Instead he's thinking, right, I'll get the offload now. If he gets the offload, we're celebrating, we're probably under the post. But yeah, it's just whether that's it's not the low risk kind of smart play, I wouldn't say, at this stage of the game.
15 minutes of the game left to play. Varney readies himself. Ball just gripped in that right hand. Walks forward looking to feed the ball into the scrum. So remember this scrummage between the 5 and 15 channels, between the 10 and 22 on the Italian left hand side. Italy playing in the royal blue jerseys with the white shorts, royal blue socks from right to left in this second period. Scotland in the white jerseys and the dark shorts. Penalty awarded to Italy from the scrum, and Scotland still searching for the composure that's going to be required if they're going to reverse the scoreline. At the moment, 6-point margin, the Italians lead, and the clock ticking down. 66 minutes gone. Gregor Townsend in conversation with some of his coaches and other members of backroom staff. He cuts an anxious figure just at the moment.
It's probably an understatement, Stuart, I think. That and fair play to Italy again. Especially when you think of how Scotland did build up that lead relatively early in the first half, but Italy stuck at it, just continued to kind of chip away, taking a couple of penalties just to stay within grasp of Scotland, and then when there's been opportunities, they're the ones that have exploded into action and taken them.
Throw in then for Lucchese, replacement hooker. That's clean hands there, Lamaro, but the referee not satisfied with the throw, direction of the ball. Lamaro was winning the ball towards the back of the line, so
I'll take your question, but
the referee will organise another scrummage.
Just patience is the key for me.
Not been too many in the game so far, just those two in the first half, but Ali Price will certainly want this to be an important platform on the 10 inside the Scotland half of the field, and they'll need to produce something perhaps from a set play to get themselves right back in the contest.
It's an interesting position, isn't it? Scotland on their own 10-metre line, that they're very much lined up to at least launch a first phase attack. The back standing relatively flat, so it's what they do off the back of that, and whether they look at, okay, we've made some yards, we keep attacking, or do they then just look at the Ali Price kick and apply sort of pressure through field position.
Of course, Italy were winners in Edinburgh by 22 points to 19 back on the 28th of February 2015. As Scotland now, Van der Merwe down the left hand side. Van der Merwe crashing his way into the 22, sending Capuzzo tumbling there. Price again looking to mop up as the Scots using Price once more. Russell, some urgency from the Scotland players, not surprisingly. Price goes in, finds Russell again. Russell with a little slip pass in towards Van der Merwe, who's come in off his wing. Only about a 9th visit into the opposition 22 for the Scots. They've come away with 3 tries in the previous 8, but they're looking to Darge now. Darge is close to the ground here by Lamaro. Ball goes loose. Scotland are able to get bodies on the ball.
No, they've not.
All the eyes on the referee. No, they haven't. It's back. It's a turnover. Colin's right as the ball just bubbled away from Scotland's hands. I thought perhaps they'd managed to rescue the situation, but an offside decision given, I think, against Scotland as a consequence, and Italy able to clear again. But suddenly hearts and mouths as Van der Merwe received possession, accelerating into the 22, receiving the pass again from Hugh Jones, but or Kinghorn it was, I should say, but on this occasion there was no end product.
Yeah, Ali Price almost overruns him. It's a simple kind of miss one play from Scotland, that Finn Russell standing flat, a wide pass to Hugh Jones, and then it's a 3-on-2, and they execute it really well to get Van der Merwe free. Van der Merwe then starts to veer back in field, and Ali Price has picked up that support line, and you just think, just hold your width, allow Van der Merwe to draw the last man, and then feed it on the inside to Price, who's in under the post. But Ali Price runs towards Van der Merwe, so they end up crossing each other. So there's not that option for Van der Merwe to link with Price, so he has to go to ground. He has to take the tackle, and then Scotland go through the phases. But Italy have got their defence reset. It's Scotland that cough up an error, compound one error with another error by getting offside at that ruck, which allows Italy a penalty to clear their lines and put into this line out back in Scotland's territory. So again, it's the frustrations of just the inaccuracies that Scotland are exhibiting.
Jamie Ritchie's on the park for the Scots, and Federico Mori has come on in place of Lewis Lina. So the latest Italian try scorer has been removed with 10 minutes of the game to go, 9.5 to be precise. Varney, also a scorer for Italy, is able to reach in, gather the ball, and again launch it forward from close towards the halfway line. A high kick was gathered there by Matt Fagerson. Ali Price and the Scots now looking to try and get some go forward as Price goes in again, squats down. Of course, it's back to a win over Ireland in 2013, the last success at home, Italy in the Six Nations. We mentioned the win away at Murrayfield 2 years later.
Another Scottish penalty.
The entire game is unravelling before our eyes, Colin.
It is indeed, yes, and as is so often the problem with Scotland when they're under a bit of pressure, their discipline just goes to pot. Sam Skinner on that occasion, you can hear Angus Gardner saying 19 stop. He's running, he's ahead of, he's chasing the kick, but he's ahead of any Scottish chaser playing him onside in an offside position, and he just continues to creep forward, and so it leaves an easy decision for Angus Gardner to penalise him. It's within kicking distance, and Garbisi has a chance to take Italy more than a score ahead.
And the margin is 6 points at the moment.
I have the wrong mark. It's just back here.
And Garbisi, who'd placed the ball and the tee on the ground, has been sort of marched back by the referee. He wasn't satisfied with where the infringement took place. Well, Garbisi a few steps back. He's still on that 15 channel.
It's a lot longer a kick for him now. So I would have thought he would have got the first one, but he's been marched considerably further back.
Yeah.
So
this
the
will
edge
be on
of
the
his
very,
limit, yeah.
I was going to say very much on the edge of his range now, because of course Padrello has launched and successfully kicked the longest penalty goal for Italy of the day so far. So Garbisi, well, the angle looks good, and he's got plenty on that, and almost the loudest roar of the afternoon in response to Garbisi's penalty goal. Italy 31, Scotland 22, and there'll be more than a few anxious looks now in the direction of the clocks inside the stadium, because Scotland have got some serious work to do now if they're to avoid a defeat in Rome. And Scotland immediately from the restart try and get Ali Price involved. Recycles ball, taken on to Ashman. Ashman then, and in with Ashman is Alec Hepburn with the drive. On it comes through the hands of Russell. Scotland again looking to Redpath. Kinghorn has it now, tried to find a little gap to launch himself through there. Scotland have it again. This time it's another replacement, Elliot Miller-Mills, bundled backwards. The Northampton Saints prop forward. Now Scotland again looking at one or two opportunities to size up the Italian defence and see if there's gaps. Russell on the angle, tackled there by the replacement Federico Mori, just on the edge of the 22. Scotland have it again. In the thick of it is Ewan Ashman. Crowd anticipating, but Scotland, the ball very much clearly available for Russell, who delivers the pass most centrally. Miller-Mills still in the thick of it at the moment. Price squats down. On again through the hands very quickly there of Redpath. On towards Miller-Mills, who takes into contact once more. Price still is going, desperately looking to gather possession. Van der Merwe just in behind him as the ball was dislodged. The winger was able to pick up. Scotland still peppering that 22. Russell with the pass. Scotland players beginning to slip and slide on this surface here as Russell now is over the ball, so too is Ashman. Ashman delivering the pass. 11 phases here for the Scots inside the Italian 22. Perhaps a little bit of space going to open up on that left hand side. Ritchie over the ball at the moment. Still it's with the Scots on that left hand side. Ball dislodged, but Van der Merwe picks up again, tries to escape the attentions there of Menoncello backing away as the Italian players have wrists and hands round the ankles there of Van der Merwe. Still play rages on. 13 phases. Price, little bit uncertain, but was able to find Ritchie into the 22. Italy looking for the steal, but it's still in Scott's hands. Price on towards Russell. Have they got some room on the right hand side? Kyle Stein stops, checks, tried to work his way back infield there from close quarters to the wing. 15 phases here. Ritchie getting up towards the line. Ritchie tumbles down. Less than 5 metres between the Scots and a fourth try bonus point, and perhaps a way back into the contest, but Van der Merwe just couldn't gather the ball, and Italy are away, racing down on that right hand channel. The ball was played forward there by Menoncello, ricocheting off the hands there of Hugh Jones and Kinghorn. Back it comes again, the Scots looking as this game is really opening up, really stretched out now. Varney with the tackle. Scotland pick and go once more. Taken on there by Lucchesi in a defensive role for the Italians. Penalty to the Scots as the ball is leathered away there by the replacement scrum half Stephen Varney. But that has eaten up another good few minutes of play, because we've only got just 4 minutes of the contest left to play, and it's still Italy 31, Scotland 22.
Yeah, and you think that Van der Merwe is going to gather the ball, shrug off a defender and trot in for the try, but he fails to gather the ball. He knocks it on, and Scotland had a penalty advantage, I think, but Gardner is deciding that...
Carl and I were happy live. If you feel like it's a deliberate knock-on, we need a check, but otherwise we keep that it's a line call.
Yeah, we need a check for this. The hand is way beyond the...
So there we go, that we're going back. There was a knock-on from Italy from a Finn Russell pass. I don't know, it feels like it was hours ago, a few moments ago, which Angus Gardner, the ref, saying he thought it was okay at the time, but the TMO is saying no, he thinks it's a deliberate knock-on.
Potential deliberate knock-on by Italy. Just give me a second, we're just lining up the replay.
So if it's a deliberate knock-on, the penalty will be in the Italian 22. It will be potential yellow cards. As we're seeing it on the big screen now, it's a difficult one, because Finn Russell has done really well. He's engaged the defender, and so the defender is in the... I know he is. It's a one hand that he's batting at the ball. It's not like he's rapping.
That's correct.
Yeah, he's not rapping as part of the tackle, which I thought he was initially.
Okay, so Marius, from what we're seeing, we all agree that it's a deliberate knock-on. So now what I want to see is
penalty try or not?
Was there any overlap or line break opportunity on the outside? So it could be more than a penalty at this point.
Yeah, so we're just going to check.
Maybe not. Maybe more than a penalty. Saying it's
a wide angle down here, so
they're going to look at a yellow card. I don't think a penalty try is necessarily an option
at the moment. No, and there's 2 attackers and 2 defenders. So I'm seeing 2 attackers and 2 defenders. So it's just a penalty is what I'm seeing.
The shame for Scotland is that the clock doesn't go back the couple of minutes to where that happened, that they could do with a little bit more time on the clock than the 3.5 minutes that they currently have.
Wide angle. I just want to have one more look at the wide angle.
Okay, it's coming, guys.
Yeah.
So are they looking at whether it's going to be a yellow card as well?
It's more than a penalty. Okay.
We'll head back to our studio in Glasgow. Peter Wright watching on. Peter, what's your interpretation of this?
Yellow card, penalty try for me. No, it's a yellow card. It's a yellow card because...
I'm seeing 2 and 2, so I just think it's a penalty for line.
Nah, for me it's a yellow card. To be fair, the 2 touch judges are trying to get him to go yellow card.
There's 2 attackers and 2 defenders on the outside, so just a PK.
I don't think
Scotland...
I don't think they were looking for a penalty try. I think what the touch judges were trying to say is a yellow card.
Yeah, I agree. And so Scotland, the penalty they had back on the 10-metre line, they were going to kick the 3 points because they need to score twice. Instead, where that one was, they've said no, we'll go for the line out. We'll try and get our try first, and then we'll go thereafter. So the maul is set up.
And Scotland positioned 5 metres from the Italian line, and the ball is back. It looks as if it's in the hands there of the hooker Ashman, who's back towards Price. This is Redpath, up towards that 5 metre line, then clawed to the ground. Price again has a little look at the options. Carrier's coming in at a rate of knots there. Price will position himself again and may well leave it to the forwards just at the moment. because Price just to the left hand side, and Scotland have been able to slide over and score underneath the sticks. A try for Scotland. 2.5 minutes of the game left to play, and there's still some life in this Scotland team and the contest yet, because Scotland found a way towards the line, and it again is that down to Finn Russell, who belts the ball over the bar between the sticks. And Colin, we've got a 2-point game, but Scotland needs something else. Sam Skinner in for the try, Russell with the conversion. It's a bonus point for the Scots. It sets them up, but it's a mighty important 2 minutes to come.
It is 2 minutes, 2 points. Scotland will, you expect, get possession from this Italian kick-off. No surprise that Italy are in absolutely no rush to make their way to the halfway line to take the kick. Scotland will, you'd expect Italy will kick deep, so Scotland will have a large part of the field to go. They'll have to go through multi-phases. It's up to them not to cough up errors. One error will cost them this game, so they're going to have to be squeaky clean. Italy's discipline's going to have to be squeaky clean as well. What a finale.
Well, thinking back to Duncan Weir's dramatic drop goal, it's going to be up there with that, if not even more significant, as Scotland again floating a ball out towards that left-hand portion, and Hugh Jones inside his own 22 tries to wrestle his way up. Price on then towards Ritchie. Almost one eye on the clock, one eye on the action on the pitch. Scotland are still inside their own 22 at the moment. They're looking now to get beyond the 22, which they do, and this is a good solid drive here. Price then joining those forwards that have gained some ground for the Scots. Back through the hands of Skinner. Scottish players looking to try and accelerate onto the ball, as Kinghorn did there just now. 6 phases. Price again squats down on the 22. Russell, delicate crossfield kick. Kyle Steyn gathers Russell's crossfield kick. Steyn wrapped in the tackle on the halfway line. It's with Price once more, and again a little bit uncertainty there on the Scots, but that was important in terms of devouring some distance between Scotland and the Italian try line, because Ritchie now has possession closer towards the halfway line. Price again. Oh, that was gathered well there by Russell out towards the left hand side. Scotland again regrouping. 5 seconds of the game left to play. A 2-point margin. Italy 31, Scotland 29. 10 Scotland phases.
Sorry, Stuart, Italy only have one player backfield because they know that Scotland can't really afford to kick or kick with any sort of depth, so they can get men into that defensive line, which makes it even more of a challenge for Scotland to make yards, to make that line break. It has been outstanding Italian defence so far, but Scotland have kept a hold of ball. They've just got 60 metres to go.
13 phases here for the Scots. Every spectator inside the Stadio Olimpico on the edge of their seats at the moment. Van der Merwe goes in just as part of the clear out. Price then on towards Kyle Steyn. Steyn down towards the deck, picked up there by Hugh Jones. Price, one-handed little offload there. Scotland players rushing up in support of the replacement scrum half. Price has it once more, is able to pick up 16 phases of play. Kinghorn, long look pass, back on the edge of the halfway line. Skinner, the bonus point try scorer. Redpath around the corner. Scotland using Dempsey there, a solid one-handed offload there by the Scotland number 8. Leathers then into the Italian royal blue jerseys coming towards him. Still Scotland have it, 17 phases. Redpath and involved in the action, so too's Ritchie with that latest offload. Kinghorn goes in once again, little offload now on towards Russell. Floated pass out from Dempsey towards Redpath on that left hand side. Stops, checks out of the back door on towards Dempsey. 18 phases of Scotland play as they desperately try and find a way towards the Italian line, or some opportunity to get the 3 points required to nudge them to victory in this enthralling contest. Kinghorn has it again. Once more just tries to accelerate into contact. The 10 metre line in the Scotland sights of the Italian half of the field. Kyle Steyn understandably tries to peel in off his wing. The Italian players rolling and getting back to their feet just now. One of them is Zerboni, who's put in 3 or 4 tackles in this latest phase of play. Price has it once again, spread out in Scotland, trying to weigh up the options each time the ball carrier takes the ball up towards Italian jerseys. It's Van der Merwe over the ball this time. Skinner, Russell, Kinghorn back down towards Skinner there, and it's this loss that's been run forward. The referee signalling the knock-on. Michel Lamaro's arms are in the air. Celebrations all round. A first Six Nations home victory for Italy since they defeated the Italians back in 2013. They were victorious at Murrayfield when they last defeated Scotland 2 years later at the end of February. But broad smiles, and what a difference one game makes in 2 weeks, because there was abject misery on the faces of the Italians when they felt they had victory snatched away from them against France. But now it's their moment, it's their time. It's Italy 31, Scotland 29, and it's victory for the home side in the Stadio Olimpico. It's a feeling they haven't experienced in a very, very long time indeed. A bonus point, Scotland try, scant consolation, and there'll be plenty of questions asked of the Scotland team and the Scotland head coach in the hours that follow. But right now it's Italy's moment as they won this match by 31 points to 29.
Italy versus Scotland. The Six Nations, live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
The Scotland Rugby podcast is now available every Tuesday. Join me, Andy Burke and Tom English. Just head to BBC Sounds and subscribe to the Scotland Rugby podcast.
It's just seismic stuff.
There's bucket hats as well.
Oh really? Yeah.
Is this a rugby podcast or is this a fashion podcast?
Why can't it be a bit of both?
Rugby. Let's get on to rugby.
There's a lot to be excited about.
Today's guest, John McGuigan.
Clubs are at the absolute bedrock of everything Scottish rugby's about.
The Rugby Sports Sound podcast from BBC Radio Scotland.
You cannot help but be so excited. It's going to be the centre of the rugby universe.
BBC Sounds.
Well, Scotland knew their title hopes were already out of their hands coming into this match in Rome. But now whatever happens between England and Ireland later today at Twickenham is immaterial from a Scottish perspective. Scotland have blown it here in Rome. Their Six Nations title hopes in the dust. Italy deserving winners here in the Stadio Olimpico, and you can see what it means to the fans here in the stadium and the players on the field. They have waited 8 long years for a victory here in the Italian capital, and they are soaking up every moment. They looked in big trouble when Scotland raced into a 22 points to 10 lead in the first half. But from there on in, the Azzurri were the better side. They took control, they punished Scotland, they withstood a late Scottish surge at their line, and they are fully deserving of the victory that means everything to them. A great day for Italian rugby, but another black mark for Scotland in Rome. Their recent record against Italy suggested they should do the job and should really have done it comfortably here today, but they've been outplayed by the home side, and it's Italy that take the spoils. Stuart McFarlane and Colin Gregor have been describing the action. Tom English is with us also in the Stadio Olimpico. We'll get the thoughts of Peter Wright in our Glasgow studio in a few moments. But Tom, we said Scotland were favourites. We said they should be good enough. They weren't good enough today.
No, they weren't. And first thing we need to do is congratulate Italy, because I thought they were immense. You know, they're 12 points down after half an hour, and they never gave up. They never stopped believing. Their defence was outstanding when it needed to be, and this is a massive moment for Italian rugby. So let's not be churlish about this. Before we monster Scotland, let's give Italy credit, because this is one of their biggest results in their history.
As bitter as this is, you look at the scenes right now in this stadium, Tom. This is good news for the Six Nations. As hard as it is for us.
Yeah, no, you got to look. The big picture is that, you know, Italy should have beaten France. They were close to beating England. They've now beaten Scotland. They've deserved to beat Scotland. And yeah, Berkey, you're right. You can see what it means all around us. Scotland in the first half had silenced this crowd, but they're not silent anymore. They weren't silent all throughout that second half, and Italy held their nerve, and Scotland didn't. Scotland bottled it. It was a disgraceful second half from Scotland. Absolutely disgraceful. You know, I'm constantly writing down, as the game was slowly slipping away, I'm writing down in my notebook, where are the leaders out there? Where's the character? Where's the belief? Where's the patience? Where's the control? And they all went down in flames together.
Yeah, Peter Wright, it's it was a difficult watch, that second half. If you're a Scotland fan, they just let the momentum slip away, and Italy took full advantage.
Yeah, Italy well done. I thought Italy played well, done the basics way better than Scotland. Showed that they had a game plan in that second half. This takes me back to the dark days of Matt Williams. Scotland at that time were awful because they're an awful coach. We've got a good coach, but we've got players for some reason who abdicate responsibility. What happened in that second half? We got the try, it was disallowed, and then from then on we had players making mistake after mistake. They get paid to be international players. They are good players, but as I said during the commentary, that we make too many errors, too many basic simple errors, that we're never going to win anything. We'll be the laughing stock, and this is the sad thing, because it really annoys me. This will be the laughing stock this weekend, whereas Italy really need to be given the credit that they beat us. We played rubbish, but we played rubbish because Italy played really well. We lacked anything to come off the bench to really influence the game in the backs. The backs were poor. We missed Tuipulotu massively, but we had nothing to change. That's why I was really surprised that he went with two back subs, because what can Ali Price and Kyle Rowe do? How can they possibly massively influence a game, especially if we're chasing? They can't do anything. So if your centres aren't playing well, or your centres get injured, what do? You bring Kyle Rowe on and moves Kyle Stein to centre. That for me was the bit they got wrong. I don't know why they had to have 6 forwards. With 5 forward subs, they could have easily coped with this Italian team. I'm really mixed, because I'm really gutted that we played as badly as we did. I don't want to criticise too much, because you get people that shouldn't really bother me. It's never bothered me for the last 20 odd years, but you get people saying, well, don't be so negative because we have a good side. We've said we've had a good side for the last 8 years. We said we've had one of the best coaches and the best group of players we've had for the last 7 or 8 years, and we've won nothing. We've won absolutely nothing, and we put in performances like that, which is not unusual for this championship. We were awful in the second half against Wales. We were awful at times against England. We were awful at times against France. And I'm not sure what the answer is. But if we go to Dublin and do that next week, we're going to get 40 points taken off us. And that's going to be tough to take. And I think a lot of players, and I think a lot of the managers, will take a serious look at themselves and decide what sort of performance we want to put in against Ireland, who are world class.
Well, the day belongs to Italy. They have done what they set out to do. They've got that long-awaited home victory here in Rome. They've waited since 2013 to do it, and the captain, Michel Lamaro, is making his way down to the pitch and lifts the Cotita Cup in front of his teammates, and the celebrations are as if they'd won the championship itself. This means everything to them, and as much love as the late Massimo would have had for Scotland, I'm sure he'll be smiling down on Italy today, Colin, because this is their day.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? Yeah, it's and it's great, the sellout crowd. And we're talking before the game, is it a sellout because actually Scotland's a game they think they can win, and they can come here and they can celebrate? And yep, they were absolutely spot on with that, and the manner in which they did it, the opportunities they took, the execution for some of their scores, the break from Big Vincent to set up one of their scores, the grubber kick through for Lina's score. It was really good play, and they sensed an opportunity. They smelt blood in Scotland, especially around the sort of 55-minute mark, and Scotland, when they then got themselves back into it. But it's no surprise that it's a forced offload that ends the game, that Scotland again, there's plenty of analysis that Scotland can do. It's great for Italy, for them to celebrate and enjoy this, but boy is it disappointing from a Scottish point of view.
Yeah, it certainly is. You mentioned some of the excellent Italian tries, Colin. One of those was scored by Juan Ignacio Brex. Let's hear some reaction from the centre.
Juan Ignacio, what a day for Italian rugby. Congratulations. Sum it up. History.
Yeah, it's history. We are really happy. We worked too hard to this, so we are so happy. Maybe we have something special after. We need to prepare for next game, but now we need to celebrate.
What was key, especially in those last few minutes when Scotland obviously had the chance to snatch the game from you?
We talked a lot of time about the passion, and I think that we show all the world that we have the passion even in the last few minutes, even if you are tired, but it's not a problem, it's in our blood, so yeah, we show the people that we have the passion.
What does this mean to finally end this wait for a home win in the Six Nations?
Means a lot for everyone who obviously talks things. We want to go against them, so it means a lot for the movement of rugby, Italian rugby, so we are so happy.
And you had a sellout crowd here today in Italy. The crowd is sold out.
Yeah.
The fans believed, I think, that this was going to be the day.
Yeah, it's one of our goals. The people need to believe in us, and they show us that they are believing on us. So we are so happy, and we'll hope to have this stadium full every game.
We showed the people we had the passion. They certainly did, yeah. Tom. We were chatting last night and in the run-up to this game, and you were sort of saying to me, why do you get so nervous about these games from a Scotland perspective? You need to start being a bit more confident in your team. But it's days like this that is the reason that Scotland fans never get carried away, because you always have that fear that days like today are just round the corner.
Yeah, because, you know, as much as we've given praise to the Scotland team for some of the tries they get, there is a flakiness at the heart of this team, and it comes out, and it came out today. Second half, even at the end of the first half, there were a few warning signs. Italy, kicked a couple of penalties. They got into the 22 a couple of times. I wasn't worried. I thought Scotland would kick on and win the game. Scotland got a try in the start of the second half. It was ruled out. From that point on, they didn't exist. They were making mistakes. They were forcing things. There was no leadership out there. There was the error count was colossal. The penalty count was rising all of the time, and stupid penalties. And I don't think Gregor Townsend can have any complaint this time. Maybe one or two. But, you know, in Wales there was legitimate gripes about the penalty count against them in the second half. Today it was just the Scotland players doing really, really stupid things, not being able to build pressure. You know, because the mistake count was so high, they weren't able to build pressure. They weren't able to build phases. There was no control. They had no control over the game in the second half. And Italy's belief just rose and rose, and it came down to who had the bottle to win this game. And Italy had the bottle, and Scotland didn't.
And again.